Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining another, I don't know if these are episodes, but Brick of the Week live on LinkedIn and our other social media channels. If you were watching that intro, you saw me and my best friend of all time, Wayne Simeon, at the end. We went to Key Biscayne and caught a bunch of mahi-mahi. And somehow the fish captain talked us into, he's like, yeah, just leave it here. And Wayne had forgotten his wallet. So we go back to the boat, and the captain has set up a mahi-mahi stand selling the mahi-mahi for like $14.99 a pound. So we paid him $1,000 to take us out and to fish. And then he hustled us Detroit style, got us to leave the fish, and he was monetizing it. So Wayne's a big dude, not someone you want to mess with, but he's a gentle giant. So good story. I always love seeing that picture. As you know, we talk a lot about relationship capital in the House of Bricks. We're all one conversation away from changing the rest of our lives and potentially, and more importantly, someone else's. And that's why I really started the House of Bricks, and sharing my story is to inspire other people. We're not after numbers. We're just really looking for that one person that we can change. And of course, another great connection I've made on LinkedIn, Evan Guzman is going to join us. We just connected, and a passion of the House of Bricks is to empower military veterans when they come back into civilian life. So very disciplined. They understand strategy, discipline, accountability. And so Evan, hop on here and let's have a chat.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I told you before, like, I'm not this big introduction guy, like Hulk Hogan's coming into the ring. So tell us
I like that.
A little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
Sure. So basically, I guess I would call myself a veteran advocate, right? Anything related to supporting our military connected community, I try to have a hand in or get involved in some way, shape, or form. And it's been a passion of mine for quite some time. And it really started out just by learning what the challenges were for those service members that were leaving the military weren't always looking to do what they did in the military outside of it. So early on in my career, I just realized, I could make a difference by recruiting more veterans wherever I go, giving them an opportunity to be seen and heard, but also make the right choices. And so it just stuck with me ever since. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 decades. And so, just doing what I love.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? I mean, to be able to see a need, come up with a solution, right? And it makes your, purpose and passion be your profession. And that's what I feel for me right now, helping entrepreneurs, helping build community, help build a relationship capital. It's really fulfilling to do that. So are there any specific projects that stand out to you that you've worked on, had some success?
Yeah, when I first started, I wasn't anticipating really helping veteran entrepreneurs initially, right? I mostly worked with companies to help them recruit veterans, right, for various industries. But in these conversations that I've had, I noticed this hesitation from many of them saying, I don't know if that's for me, working in the corporate sector. I kind of want to figure out what I can do for myself, for my family. I've had entrepreneurs here and there. And then all of a sudden things started to shift. And then I started to realize a lot of what they were looking for was just validation. Is this a good idea? If so, how can I get started? And the hardest part of anything, as you know, is really knowing where you want to go and what you want to do. So I found that building connections and making light introductions really made a big difference. And that doesn't have to cost anything to refer people. So I would say one of my biggest accomplishments for $0, zero marketing, was this guy who started a company called Pocket Square Heroes, which is what I wear all the time. Yeah. All he needed was, I have little money. All I need is some great product placement, and I said, what, I think I can help. Next thing I know, I made a couple calls, appeared on one of the Fox and News, Fox and Friends shows, started handing out the Pocket Square Heroes as veteran owned, and they were just popping them on. And it just grew from there, right? Yeah. Because me, it was just a little gesture, a little favor that didn't have to cost anything that really made a difference. And so that inspired him to want to do more. So now he's doing things where when he retires from working in government, he wants to have this give back. But it was those little things that I would say made a difference. Another one was really a guy who owns Heroes Vodka. He just wanted to get his product out there, right? So I had some connections and I got him into an exclusive Hollywood elite type of club where his vodka brand was there because it's veteran owned. They support the military. And so it's little things like that that really make a difference to give them hope to realize, you know what, I can do this. I just need a little bit more support and help, because it's not always about having a big marketing dollar. It's really, as you say, you know, building that relationship capital. And that's where I feel it's made this difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's always, you know, there's a lot of buzz just in general. Hey, I want to help veterans or empower veterans, but there isn't really like a lot of, I guess, solid options. You know, I don't want to say kind of like using that for publicity, but it seems like what you're doing is, you know, very strategic. What do you see as kind of some of the common misconceptions of hiring veterans or veterans starting businesses?
From the hiring side, from an employer perspective, is, oh, they don't have the relevant experience, right, that we would be looking for. But yet, when I was at Verizon leading the military efforts there, we discovered that about 85% of military occupational specialties had a direct or civilian counterpart within the organization. All they needed to do was just kind of study it a little bit, get to know what those skill sets are. And then they realize everything they say they look for in the talent they seek is exactly what the military trains for, right? That resiliency, that mission-driven attitude. When it comes to entrepreneurship, it's just almost the same thing as, oh, well, they're new to this. They're not even really sure. But here's the thing. The hardest part about building a business isn't so much about the product, right? Because you can market. If you market well, you can get people to buy a bad product, right? It's all in how you market it, you know. And I've been duped. Good marketing will get me to buy a drink that I'm like, oh, this is horrible. It's not good. But I think that it's the resiliency that service members, former military professionals, as I like to call them, bring to the table, and why there are studies that have shown that veterans who start a business have a greater success rate than civilian counterparts. And I think it's because of that military resiliency. And when they, you know, because remember, mission accomplished is really what that attitude is. So you could be in a team of 3. Unfortunately, things happen in war, right, and in combat, that you still have to keep driving that mission. I think they bring that over to the private sector and just continue to go at it, and which is why you see a success. I mean, after World War II, these service members came home to their communities and their families, and they started to build businesses like FedEx, like Walmart, you know, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, all started by veterans. And so there are a lot of businesses out there that people don't know about that are veteran owned. And I think part of this, what I'm trying to do is tell that story and about that resiliency and passion and commitment that I think veterans bring. So they are worth the investment.
Yeah. And there's 2 things actually 3 you mentioned. So one, you know, kind of figuring out where you want to go and how you're going to get there. I'm sure you've seen this on LinkedIn. We talk about our simple framework, and the first step is always the strategy. And it's not just where you are now, where you want to go, but the key thing is how you're going to get there. Right. And so our I stands for innovation, testing, failing, learning, and growing. And the reason I bring that up is because I think experience in business is overrated. I posted on this yesterday, because when you're in an industry or industry experience, you kind of put blinders on and you look at things a certain way. So I'll take someone with resilience, accountability, discipline. Anyone can learn anything.
Yeah, that's right. The biggest part, though, for a lot of service members is feeling confident about themselves, right? Because they know what they were able to do in the military, what they're capable of, but they sometimes can get a little shy or sort of question themselves when they go into the private sector. And I find that giving them a little reassurance really makes the difference. And that can happen just through a conversation. Sometimes I'll play devil's advocate, and I think you and I share similar sort of commitments to support others who want to start a business by poking holes, right?
Right.
To make sure that they understand what they're getting into, because a great idea doesn't always mean it's going to be a great product or great campaign. It just means that it's a good idea. But once you operationalize it, you have to be ready for what happens. Either you
Yep.
grow or you stay or you go, right? So
Yep.
sort of that mentality that I think they just need to be reassured at the end of the day. That's what I feel the common denominator ends up being.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why we've made it, I have a passion for veterans. My grandfather, he was in World War II, flew 51 successful missions, and he was a big impact in my life. Always believed in me. I was kind of that late bloomer. And he'd always say, watch out for Adam. He's a sleeper, and he was right. So it's always just been important. To me, he was a fireman, a postman, just, served his country. And that's how I was brought up. So we're really focused in our community on the House of Bricks, because you just talked about how do you get that confidence. And that's the power of community. It's mixed with CEOs, investors, venture capitalists, and an ecosystem for entrepreneurs, veteran entrepreneurs, where there's trusted people that they can work with, and they all believe in building that relationship capital. So even if they're looking for a job and someone in our community is hiring, or they're looking for funding, that's a great reason to be a part of the House of Bricks.
Yeah. It's funny because when I did my research on the House of Bricks, I'm very protective of who I refer to our military connected community. I have to be, right? Because there's a lot of organizations out there that say the right things, but then at the end of the day, you don't know what happens behind the scenes. And I'd never want to be involved in where Evan referred me to these guys, and now I'm short thousands of dollars or didn't get a return. So I took the liberty of doing some research and realizing what you offer is important, because again, a lot of service members may have the resiliency, but they don't have the know-how. They may have the wherewithal to get into an industry that perhaps is very challenging, but staying with it is hard when you don't have backers like folks like you to reassure them. Hey, listen, this is nothing new. This is common. This sucks right now, but trust me, the life of an entrepreneur is always unpredictable, right? But just like missions out in theater, you never know what you're going to expect, but you have to be ready for it. So starting a business is no different. And I think they just need to be kind of told, because they build confidence based off others' experience and others' knowledge, right? And if you share that with them, they start to feel more confident, and that resiliency just continues to grow. But then in other parts, it's the funding, right? Where do I go to find funding? And you don't know what you don't know, right? I don't know where I can find funding for every business, but I know where I can refer them now, right? Because the House of Bricks provide those types of Q&As. And I think that for any business that's out there, they all have to make an investment, not only in themselves, but in their business. And I think what you're offering is exactly what I wanted to do as the Milband project, but I just don't have the extensive experience that I have. Low-key experience in certain things, but then I know where to hand it off, right? And that's really how you help the startup, minded individual.
Yeah. And trust me, building a community is very difficult. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. But we've gotten to a place now. We're not doing any nurture sequences or ad funnels to drive people. It's just through conversations on LinkedIn is really how we're building it with best in class people. So it's a lot of work, but like I said, we're seeing, we're out of the struggle zone. Starting to see just things come to fruition. So from your perspective, for us, like as the House of Bricks community, what else do you think we could say or be doing that would, strike a chord with veterans out there that want to grow their business, want to be a part of a community?
Yeah, I would say you just have to put yourself out there, just like you're doing. You talked about wanting to support the military connected community. We have similar thought process and how we can do that. And here I am on your show. One of the things I will share that I think is important is really service members can be individuals that are tough to work with because of the trust issues. They think everyone's out to get them because they're veterans or this and that.
Right.
And I think that once you build that trust by just sharing common knowledge, let them decide, hey, I kind of like what Adam had to say, or I kind of like that Evan spoke with Adam and kind of validated what they're doing to help veteran entrepreneurs. That kind of goes a long way. But the way for your organization to get more involved is to just be open to have conversations with individuals that are just curious about, I've been thinking about starting a business, I'm working now, but I kind of was thinking of this. I'm looking for they're looking for just, again, either reassurance or just trying to find common answers to common questions related to starting a business. And the one thing I will say, launching soon, there is a platform called Post Veterati, which is about mentorship. And it's really conversations, right? We can call it mentorship, but it's really about connecting with individuals or expert industry insiders just to share their knowledge with individuals that either have aspirations to start a business or want to work for an employer. So postveterati.org is coming soon. That can be a great way to really join the community, because what we're going to start to do is, and it was a platform that existed before Adam, and unfortunately, and I think there's a great story here from an entrepreneurial perspective. It's a great case study that we can talk about further, but it's really just about connecting the right people together. It's hard to network. Like you said, it's hard to build a community, but if we can create technology, a digital platform that allows those connectivities to happen with more ease, then I think it's a game changer, because it offers service members an opportunity to connect with industry insiders, but it also gives industry insiders an opportunity to give back. So that's what I love. And it's a free solution. We're not charging for this. We're just building it, putting it out in the world as a gift for service members who are looking for questions related to employment, entrepreneurship, education, or just peer-to-peer. I just want to talk to Adam because I love his background. I know you've had multiple exits, right, in your life. Yeah. How do I get to that point? And you're just going to have a conversation just like we're having.
Yeah. And again, it's just getting around the right people. And that's what we're trying to build. Is there anything we can do as the House of Bricks to help you out, help get your word out there? I know Paul's putting the link in the chat to Post Veterati, but how else can we help
Thank you? Yeah, I would say anyone you're involved with or in your sphere can volunteer, 45 minutes of their time just to sign up, say, hey, listen, I'm here just to hear what you have to say, but I'm also here to provide any questions related to, because you'll be surprised how some service members that are leaving, they have a plan, whether it's coffee, right? Whether it's apparel, whatever it is, they've got a plan. They just need help to plant early seeds and get on the right track. So I would say keep your eyes open for any individuals that's interested in having a discussion with individuals like yourself, because they aspire to be like you, and just be willing to give them a little bit of your time. And that's basically all I can ask for.
Yeah, and we're available. We're here to help, here to support you. We have really some great initiatives in the works for veterans. But again, let's keep that conversation open. Any companies you're working with that may be a fit, or if you have veterans looking for funding, we have a strong funding network as well. So,
yep, perfect.
Someone just listening to Evan brings back my Brooklyn accent, someone said. So in the
I'm from New York originally, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. New York. Even when you said that, it changed. Yeah. Got even worse. Well, I'll kind of watch the chat if anyone has any questions, but while we're doing that, I think I went over this with you before, but even as you're working with these companies, feel free to use our simple framework. And it's an acronym. The S stands for strategy. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? The I is innovation. So you're going to test, fail, learn, grow, test, fail, learn, grow. The M is mindset, because your dreams meet reality. Like, this is, what am I doing? 9 out of 10 startups fail. So that's really when you need the right mindset. Everyone's happy in the beginning. the P stands for patterns. So you're looking at, what worked, what didn't. And the most difficult thing for entrepreneurs is actually to stop doing what isn't working, because you're paid for advertising. It's not, and they just keep investing. So using data to drive better decisions. The L stands for leverage, right? The compound effect of doing the small things every day consistently over time. That's how you leverage your business. And the E, of course, is execution, which is why I love working with veterans. They understand accountability, discipline, and execution. So, and the resilient. So we're really excited for that to be a big part of the House of Bricks going forward, and staying connected with you. So any closing thoughts or things you want to add?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for opening your doors to support the military connected community. I think you'll be very impressed with not only their inventions and products and services that they provide, but that I think it leads to a thriving economy, helping our military connected community in this way, because they're going to employ other veterans to help execute. And I know you've got a couple of veterans on your team already, so you're already on the right track.
Oh, we are. Got some rock stars. Paul behind the scenes. Donnie Raymond, former Navy SEAL. He was LeBron James trainer. So if you Google Donnie Raymond, LeBron James, he's the one that fixed his back. So great guy. I've known him for 20 years. Taylor Farrell, another one, buddy of mine from college. So people just keep popping out of the woodworks and adding great people. And that's really the power of LinkedIn, is building new relationships, but also revitalizing old ones. It really is the best platform for that. So I want to thank you for joining the Brick of the Week, House of Bricks live, and look forward to connecting with you again soon. And thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam.